Today we're talking about the WalkSnail CADDx Gogglesx Gimble and Moonlight kit setup. We're not going to be going too crazy in depth, but the point of this video is to help mitigate confusion and fill in some of the blanks left by instructions. Just finally got it working, but it took me a little long. It took me about 3 days or 3 afternoons of trying to message CADDx and look online for the answers, which there's not a lot. This software updates all the time. Maybe you can find some old forums, but then again, nothing specifically for the problems that I was having with this whole thing. Number one, I'll start by saying thank you to CADDx and their support team in getting back to me as soon as possible. This is not a thing against CADDx. This is a help fill in the blank so that those who are in this hobby, getting into this hobby, can spend more time enjoying the products versus struggling and stressing over money and whether this thing will work or not. Because it will work if the steps are done right or if you correctly set up this product. Start by saying, number one, when you power these on and you're not connected to a VTX, it will say transmission disconnected. Or transmitter disconnected. I assumed that meant there was something in here that was disconnected and I need to connect it back. That's a lie. It just, transmission with the VTX is disconnected, not your transmitter. Big difference. Before I start or get into everything, that kind of quick run through, I want to thank CADDx again. Very helpful, very awesome. Great product, just instructions are left a little bit blank. So I would like to mitigate the confusion and avoid the stress for others. I'm no expert. This is my first time updating software and firmware, or updating firmware and using software on my laptop for this sort of stuff. Really my first time setting up an FPV system. So this was a great learning experience, great curve, but if I can help others, then that is a blessing. So hopefully this video finds whoever needs it, and hopefully this helps. If not, leave a comment down below. I don't know, say some mean stuff, tell me that I'm bad or ugly or something, and I'll get back to you. I'll try and make a better video with the instructions. Each of this equipment does come with instructions. However, they have QR codes or whatever these little things are, and CADDx has all the user manuals online. I would highly recommend having all the online manuals up. I would recommend reading them first, and I would recommend having all your equipment set up and ready. I'll get right into the equipment that I had and that you'll need. Here's a video of everything you need. Fully charged batteries, SD card reader, SD card's already in there. You need that little cable, this cable for the headset, this cable for the head tracker firmware, your equipment, a base plate, goggles, screwdrivers, tiny ones, and then that one's my poker for this binding port right there. Then just not shown a solder for this little stuff over here. Okay, I'll quickly go over how this thing is set up. So you get the camera, you get the VTX, take off the back plate for this camera, remove the coaxial cable very carefully and diligently. Then you reattach the one that is on this gimbal, you plug it in, and you screw, not the back plate back on, but this is now the new back plate. You screw this into the camera, boom. Underneath is another coaxial cable. This one is running from the head tracker, or the gimbal. So you unplug, you unscrew, and take off the last one very diligently and carefully. And you put on the new one, boom, screw it back on. Then you plug in this 8-prong wire into the back of the head tracker, which has the wire for receiving head tracker and receiving head tracking communication, and the power leads. Then you want to plug in the power lead for the VTX itself. Then you can, don't look at my soldering, it's really bad, but you can wire these together, the VTX and Gimble, positive lead and the negative, onto your choosing of a battery port. Easy enough. Then you can go ahead and screw this onto a base plate if you have one. I need to make a bigger one and all that good stuff. That just helps keep it organized. One thing that I'll note is I did not do this at first. I did not do that at first. I need to do that and probably resolder this because I'm using a much smaller battery because I don't want to overheat this thing. And that's something that I'll do in the future, but I'll recommend doing that as well, is before you solder everything, make sure that they're nice and neat, make all the wires nice and neat, and make sure that the battery port that you're choosing is something not too crazy, because the only battery that I have for XT60 is a 4S 2700 milliamp, which is too much for this thing. So now I'm plugged into this smaller 3S 850 milliamp, and that works perfectly fine. Another recommendation I'll have is getting a fan for this VTX unit. This is the wiring process, about 5 to 9 times speed. Just takes a little bit. It's just exactly as I described, putting in the wires from the Gimble to the VTX and then soldering them up. This is where I'll call out my first mistake and my first suggestion, which is finding the correct battery lead that you want, as well as intertwining the wires that go together to make your build cleaner and more organized. Let this thing power on too. These are just extra wires I'm probably just gonna cover up. End to part 1. I want to keep these videos short and sweet, so please stay tuned for part 2, where we get into the firmware updates and processes that you need to do. So stick around, and thank you for watching.